It started like any ordinary evening at Wang Court. People were cooking dinner, kids doing homework, the usual sounds of a quiet housing estate. No one imagined what was hiding behind the nets and scaffolding wrapped around the towers. Inside one of the renovation units, workers had left things behind. Foam boards, wires, flammable covers piled in corners. It didn't look dangerous at first glance, just messy. But sometimes disaster doesn't announce itself. Sometimes it begins with something as small as a spark. And that spark came. Maybe from a tool, maybe from a wire. Nobody knew at that moment. But whatever it was, it found exactly what it needed. Within seconds, a tiny flame turned into something fierce, latching onto insulation and racing across the room like it had been waiting for the chance. Once it reached the scaffolding outside, there was no stopping it. The fire climbed upward as if it were alive, floor after floor lighting up in terrifying waves. Residents opened their doors expecting calm hallways, but instead met blinding smoke and heat pushing back at them. Families rushed out in confusion, some choking, some shouting for help. Stairwells filled with smoke, alarms stayed silent, and exits that should have saved them instead turned into traps. People were stuck, some on balconies, some huddled against closed doors, hoping someone would reach them in time. Firefighters arrived fast, but the fire was faster. They moved upward through the building, step by step, every floor hotter than the last. It wasn't just one apartment burning. It was 7 towers wrapped in flames, an impossible fight forced upon them. Down in the courtyard, survivors gathered in shock. Ash covered their faces, children clung to parents, and everyone stared at the inferno that used to be their home. Some cried, others were silent. All they could do was watch. When morning finally came, the fire had left behind nothing but silence. Blackened walls, broken windows, and a smell of smoke that clung to the air like grief. Investigators stepped in as soon as the heat settled, walking through ruins and charred hallways, piecing together what really happened. And slowly, the truth surfaced. This wasn't just bad luck. It wasn't just a spark. It was negligence. Materials left unsecured, warnings ignored, safety checks skipped. All of it adding up to a tragedy that could have been prevented. Then came the arrests. Contractors, managers, people who should have protected the tenants but didn't. The community watched as charges were announced, not with anger alone, but with heartbreak. In the days that followed, the base of the towers filled with candles, flowers, and quiet prayers. Neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder, mourning those they lost and promising to remember the lives changed forever by the Wang Court fire.